Why for 25 years has nobody in Tamil Nadu opened their mouth about this? It's shameful. And all this pressure, and this pressure went on for about a period of 2 years. Everything from gundas to political interference to meddling with our business associates to misleading us. Even at the last moment we were saying no. There were 7 members of this family. 3 of the members received what they should have received. 4 never received the money that they should have received. And from that date till today, we have been fighting all of this. We have been trying every approach possible to leverage in some way and get what was settled. But these particular people in Tamil Nadu were for a long, long time considered completely untouchable. Any efforts to try and leverage them simply were not going to amount to anything. Nobody in the press was interested in any of these issues. As I say, it's only now, when Jayalalitha is out of the picture, when Sashikala is in jail, that the media is now taking up this issue of corruption. And for my misfortune, Kodanad is a high-profile part of that whole picture.
So one of the prized, as we say, possessions or accusations, like you can say, like. But at that time, what is the extent of the estate, sir? At that time, 1992.
It's same property today, 906 acres.
906, like, and the exchange was 7.6 or 7.5 crores, sort of. But did you have a calculation like how much it is really worth? I mean,
we knew clearly. Look, it's no secret. One can't make up these things. You can go and look at the registrar's office at, what price land was changing hands at the time. And we were talking, before Sashikala or any of these people, when we were trying to assess the value of the estate, we were talking to other people who may have been interested or showed in the past interest in the property.
But you were going to sell at least some of it, no?
No. We had no decision had been made about a sale at all. We had certain financial...
Some bank loans, something...
that we had to address. And we were deciding how we should address these bank loans. And we had... And the bank loans compared to the value of the property were very small, please understand that. But we needed to address them, and we were discussing what options there were open to us to address this situation. And in all of that, we had been talking to people who are in the industry who may be interested in acquiring this property.
So what you're effectively saying, it was not a distress sale?
No, not at all.
The situation was not at all a distress sale?
No. And we then were looking at prices between 12 and 15 crores as what we thought the value of the property was at the time. Okay? And we had a number of people who wanted to enter discussions with us at, from their side, 12 crores and try and negotiate. We never, because there was no serious intent to finish it, we basically left it at that, and we didn't proceed with them any further. In all this picture comes Sashikala, and when it comes to getting the price that we wanted, as I said, this matter had gone on for 2 years. It was made abundantly clear to us that nobody else will ever be able to buy this estate. They will do whatever they have to prevent other buyers coming forward. That if we were prepared to take cash, they could, we couldn't, we're foreigners. Nobody in our family wanted to go anywhere near cash. So there was this final agreement that was negotiated by Mr. Udaya, not by these people. But we all know it was all on behalf of Sashikala. But it was negotiated with him that we would sign an agreement, we would finish the sale, we would stop all this harassment, we would get a fairly substantial amount of money upfront paid immediately, and he would ensure that these at the end of the day, we received a fair value for the property. And it was the way that we were hoping that would happen was that funds would be made available to us over a period of time, which would all be above board and recorded, etc., until such time as this value had been settled in full. Now, none of that ever happened.
But you did pursue the matter.
Oh, most certainly. I mean, there were intermediaries involved who were supposed to make all this happen. And we initially pursued them vigorously over many, many years.
But directly, did you meet the Chief Minister?
No, so we then later on put feelers out towards these people. But as soon as there was a mention of it was a matter relating to Kodanad, it came down the chain to us that they wouldn't talk about this and no point proceeding with it because it won't go anywhere.
Have you been to Kodanad after all this happened, sort of?
No, never onto the estate. I've been past it a couple of times, but I've
You have not entered after 1994?
No.
But, I mean, having been part of us since 75, it's quite this thing. Didn't you miss that place? And, I mean...
Look, I fought passionately for a number of years to prevent what eventually happened. By the time it happened, my family relations were in pieces, the future of my estate was in doubt. I have to deal with all this harassment coming from various quarters. I'm getting told by people that, it'll eventually become dangerous if you don't agree. After all of this, when the property finally went, it left the ugliest, foulest taste possible in my mouth. But that had absolutely nothing to do with the property. I'm passionate about that property. I spent 15 years converting it from a derelicted property to one of the most decent properties in South India. You don't do that unless you put your heart and soul into it, and I certainly did. To see it now degenerated into something like a cash bank for unsavory people, now again with a very uncertain future, I'm upset. One thing I will always maintain that when we sold this property to these people, I was most upset that they would actually spoil the estate rather rapidly, and I will at least say that they've maintained the estate rather well.
So now that you have embarked on this mission to regain custody of Kodanad, how confident are you that...
I have no idea. Look, it was never my intention to reclaim Kodanad. My intention has always been to find a settlement to our issues regarding Kodanad.
The balance 4 crores.
Whatever it is, it's a subject that they know, I know, and hopefully it'll eventually get settled. But I feel that if the matter is going to be ignored, then this property was procured from us, number one, under an illegal binami transaction to try to ensure it actually happened. And secondly, we really did procure this property under very questionable ways and means. They openly sent thugs onto our property. They really were not prepared to hear no under any circumstances. And I believe that currently in Tamil Nadu, that if a property has been acquired in that fashion, then I have a right to reclaim it. And if that is the case, then I will certainly pursue it.